Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, VBAC mama, and doula. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this, and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hey mama, this is another episode of the Entering Motherhood podcast. This specifically is a doula talk episode, which if you don't know, we go live on Instagram every Tuesday around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And by we, I mean me and Caitlin, who is the co-creator of our signature Own Your Birth childbirth education course. Please go look at that if you are looking for a childbirth education course. It's our signature Own Your Birth self-led online comprehensive course, and it is just packed with all the information that you will need to be able to feel informed and empowered as you navigate this stage of pregnancy and leading into birth and even the postpartum period. So we are so excited about that course, and we have been chatting and having these doula talks to provide you with more information to really own your birth and have information that maybe you didn't know or refresh your memory on things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you ever have any topics that you feel like you would want to add or hear, if you have any questions, then please reach out to us and let us know so that we can include it in these episodes and in these conversations that we are having for you to really feel informed and empowered. So let's get this episode started. Hello. Happy Tuesday. We are back for another doula talk today, and we are talking about building knowledge and what that looks like all throughout pregnancy, your birth, and even into the postpartum period and well beyond. So let me add Caitlin here.
Hi. How's it going? I was just saying that we're talking this week, so this is our fourth week, the 8-week kind of getting the year off right and doing different things, just little habit ideas or things to try to incorporate into your lifestyle. So we're talking about building knowledge today.
Yeah. Like, didn't realize the sun was in such a weird spot.
It's sunny today.
I know, it's
It hasn't
lovely.
been in a while, so I love it. I love all the natural light and all the sunlight coming in today.
It's so nice. So nice. But yeah, building knowledge, it's really something that I am really passionate about, clearly. But and I think we can both agree that it is so important to not only just build knowledge, but have it from a good, credible source, but not just rely on the knowledge as well. Putting in the efforts and putting in the work to build that knowledge for what I'm trying to say is from all avenues. You don't just want to get your knowledge from this one influencer or, well, this person has had 5 unmedicated births. I'm going to just listen to what they say. That's great. Listen to them, but look at other avenues as well, And it all doesn't have to come from evidence-based birth either. I love Rebecca Decker and what she does, but she doesn't have to be your only resource either,
Yeah. I was going to say, find something that resonates with you. If you are, talking even with a friend who has literally just had a baby a couple months before you, and so they're just that one step ahead of you, and you like what they're saying and it resonates with you and it aligns with you, then that's fine. But you're still having that conversation. You're still building that knowledge. You're still getting more information, and you have somebody to ask questions. If now you ask them a question, you're like, that just doesn't seem right. Even if it is a professional or, somebody that you trust or anything like that. If you're like, that just doesn't seem like the full truth or that doesn't seem aligned with how I want to birth my baby, how I want to mother my child. like whatever it might be, if it's not true to what you want, then
Mhm.
then yeah, like keep looking. We live in a world with mass amount of information, and like mostly like we don't want you to get lost in that. But like Caitlin was saying, like, source around, look around, like ask different opinions. Like mom groups can be great when like you
Mhm.
want a wide variety of opinions. And like you really want to see like what people are doing or what they're saying or what kind of this they're getting,
Yeah.
or like even if it's like simple as like building your registry, like
Yeah.
what items did you put on yours? What items did you actually use? Like
Mhm.
take real life people and consider like what they're saying and utilize it if it aligns with you. But
Yep.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's great. And, like, there's so much good information there because it's so easy to just get bogged down, especially in, like, mom groups. I feel like mom groups get this bad rap because it's like, "Oh, you're, like, asking in a mom group, be ready to get blasted." And it's likely to happen, but if you can just sort through that stuff and you're like, "You know what? Whatever. Doesn't even bother me." And I've also started, like, because I have some fairly controversial beliefs and views, as, a lot of people do, but, like, if I'm asking a question on a mom group that has anything to do with that, I'll just put in there, like, "Look, at the bottom, if you're coming to blast me here, just keep on going." Like, I'll delete it, don't even care. And, like, if what you're asking has anything to do with that, just go ahead and put that disclaimer out there, and it might save you a little bit of trouble, especially if you're somebody that stuff bothers.
Yeah.
Because I personally am a huge fan of mom groups. I have gained so much knowledge and resources. Like, some of my favorite resources have come from a suggestion in a mom group, and I'm just so thankful that I found
Yeah.
them.
Local groups can be great for finding people that are specifically local to you because, I mean, you can Google and you can find people, and, whoever is ranked up there on the top is who you're going to find. But if you really want to find, like, okay, real reviews, like real opinions of different people in your area, if you're looking for a doula, pelvic floor therapist, a chiropractor, like ask somebody in that local group because people again are going to have a whole bunch of different opinions, and you might get like one person loves this person, one person was not a fan, whatever it might be, but at least like you get a starting point and then you can go research that and look up that person yourself. And
Yeah.
like, not even just resources, but just other knowledge that you're building upon. Like if you're working on building your birth plan, like
Yeah.
take time to go through each one of those things and say, why do I feel so strongly about this? Or why do I, why am I not sure if like this should be part of my plan or not?
Yeah.
Like go through that. And then, Caitlin and I are always going to be like, get a doula. Find a doula that resonates with you. Find somebody who like you can talk to, hang out with, ask the weird questions, and like go through all of those things with. Because even if it's just like, texting back and forth or like meeting with them at one of your prenatals and like getting all these questions answered, they're going to know because they're in the birth world. They've been doing this, they're immersed in it, they've done it once or twice. And it's really just like, again, like taking that person that's like maybe like one step ahead of you or a little bit more knowledgeable than you, and then just feeling and resonating with what they're saying, and knowing that like, okay, like this is better than me, scrolling or Googling or spiraling. And it just helps allow you to have like a very focused, centered type of knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, like, I've had to remind myself of lately is, like, you don't have to be an expert in everything. You don't you can't be, it's not possible. Like, you don't have to know everything about everything. That's why there's specific people for specific things. Like, if you are, I don't know, just gonna say a welder or something, for instance, and then I'm not gonna say clearly because there's people who are well-versed in every like, many different avenues, but you're probably, generally speaking, not gonna know as much about the human body and birth and all of that. You could, not making generalizations here, but most of the time that's not the case. And so even more in those circumstances, like, get a doula, get somebody to have in your corner who's gonna know that avenue even better, because then not only are they gonna help you build that knowledge and help you sort through all the madness, but when it comes down to it and it comes time for birth, you're gonna be able to help you find the red flags, advocate for what you want, and just really be that person in your corner who's a non-biased third party. And that's really gonna be what you need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I mean, like, your provider can be a great resource for building knowledge as well.
mhm,
Go into your prenatal appointments with your provider and ask them questions. Like, when they say, "Hey, do you have any other questions?" Have questions already prepared. Have things that you have been, again, like Googling, spiraling about, wondering about, that you really feel like you can't find a solid answer to, or that you feel like, maybe there's a little bit more, or you want to specifically find out what their policy is,
yep,
what their procedure is, and like how it would happen if it was at their practice, or, at their
mhm,
birth center, or at your home, like whatever it might be, because it does change. Like, Kaylin and I are so knowledgeable about birth, but when it comes to different providers, like, they're different. For the
yeah,
most part, there's like relatively, basic things about, what's going on, like at hospitals or birth centers or home births.
mhm,
But again, like, everybody's unique. Everybody has unique situations. What could be, working for you doesn't work for somebody else. Like, we love VBAC, but there's going to be like different providers that feel differently about like multiple, cesareans, or like past scars, or whatever the case might be. There's just, that like inconsistency, that it really comes down to like asking those hard questions, getting the information, and building
yeah,
upon like everything that you can really like just like lay down, and try to figure out, and ask those questions early. Like, your very
yes,
first appointment, start going through and asking these kinds of questions, because you can always
yes,
switch providers. You can always, find
mhm,
different resources. I love books and podcasts, and, looking for different people on here that are just knowledgeable about all different types of information. So it's out there, but don't let it overwhelm you.
yeah. And I think too, like, don't discredit asking your provider, because and asking them early, because it can really bring up questions and things like, "Okay, is this really the person for me?" Because we'll just use the VBAC example. You know, when if you're wanting a VBAC and you go in, you talk to your provider at, like, your first appointment, and you just lay it out there. You say, "Hey, I really want a VBAC. I really don't want another cesarean." And then they're like, "Well, you can try, VBAC's a good option, but, then, if something happens or this, that, and the other," and they have, like, that attitude, really evaluate it, because the chances of VBAC with a provider who's gonna question you all along the way and who's not gonna truly support you are so much less than if you have somebody who's truly in your corner and who's actually really gonna support you and not be looking at you like an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's, like, a huge not way to build knowledge there too, because you're building the knowledge about your provider who's ultimately gonna be there for your birth, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I think with everything, like, you're just building knowledge about yourself and different situations and how you want to
Mhm,
mother. I think like a lot of the times, you're finally realizing like, oh my goodness, like, I want, a certain type of birth, or I want, to mother a certain way, or how
yeah,
can this be more in line with the vision that I want?
yeah,
We have our free vision planner. We have all these resources that are like out there and available for you, and we really just
mhm,
want you to be aware of all of the different options, all of your different possibilities, and we want you to really own your birth, feel in
mhm,
control, and know that like, you got this, and like, there is information out there and you can find it. I think a lot of times we hear like, why didn't anybody tell me? Or why isn't anybody talking about this? And it's like, okay, like they are, but you have to look for it. Like sometimes you really have to like dig around or ask around or get curious. So if it is something that like you want to know more about, you want to hear more people talking about, then it's just a matter of finding it. And like I said, like I think there's a lot out there. There's a lot that you can really like consume your time with. But if you are, getting a childbirth education course and everything is really, all encompassing and comprehensive, that's a good starting point. We
Yep.
have our Own Your Birth course that, again, like we want you to just be fully aware of all of your options and just feel like you are owning your birth and that you are taking control and that you are walking into your prenatals, knowing exactly like what kind of questions you want to ask. You're walking into your birth, super pumped, super excited, fully aware of everything that's going to be going on so that you're not blindsided and you're not kind of like in this like, oh, well, I don't know what's going to happen or what about this or what about that? Like we really break it down. And if we don't break it down there, we have the Facebook group that you can ask whatever questions you want. And again, it's just like this whole community, like we are learning, we're building upon it. And we just want you to have all of the resources possible so that you feel fully confident in what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is that you feel confident, you feel comfortable, and you are choosing the things that align with what you want for your birth and postpartum and your motherhood journey, because ultimately that's how you're going to feel empowered. You're going to have that good experience. You're not going to feel traumatized and all of that because birth is hard. Motherhood is hard. But if you can do it from a place of alignment, then it's really just going to make it so much better, you know? And like, just for example, like the bad days of mothering or whatever, or the days that I'm just like, I did not treat my kids the way I wanted to today. Like, I just lost it on them, and that's bad. Like, I don't wanna do that. But then
you want
most of
the awareness.
Yes.
I want to give you credit because it really is that. Like you're having that awareness and you're saying like, oh my goodness, I didn't like how I showed up today. So like, how can I change that or how can I adjust that? And so like, then you're getting curious about it and you're gaining more knowledge and you're really figuring out like, what can I do differently? And I think that's really like, it's just those little steps and replicating it all throughout your motherhood because, we have young kids, but I can only imagine, the years ahead of us, but
Yeah. All right. Well, moral of the story, build the knowledge, build it in alignment, and if you need a good starting place, our birth vision planner is fantastic. It's so good, it's so detailed, and I promise you'll love it.
yes. Yeah. And I mean, like we have those links in our bio, but I can link it in the comments or try to find a way or comment the word vision and we can send it to you.
Yeah, we will send it. If you are interested, just drop a comment. I'm not sure that Instagram lets you link, like just put actual links in the comments, but if you want it, just drop a comment and we will send it straight to your inbox.
Caitlin.
All right,
Bye, Mama.
bye.
Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.